Life. I am the one, the only Brad. How are you guys doing today? I hope you're all doing good. It is a wonderful Tuesday evening, 6 o'clock my time. Sun is still out, and it's been a good day. It looks like I'm flying solo for the meantime again, but that's okay. Nothing wrong with that at all. So, today I wanted to go over kind of some shading with people. I've had some questions about it. Messaged me on Facebook or Twitter, asking me about shading and what what they can do for shading. But first, before we do that, I want to show something real quick. Josh's book, one of our co-hosts here, Megawatt versus the Vampire of the Sun, is out on Kickstarter right now. It is doing much better funding this time. It is the first day. They're currently at 734 of their $7,000 goal. Looks like they're probably going to get with being 10% there already. So not bad, not bad at all. Please check it out. Give them a like, give them a share. They would appreciate it. You can go to megawattcomic.com and grab yourself a book today. So please check that out. Josh worked really hard on this, and I'd like to see one of my friends get some love, for his book. So, anyways, check it out if you feel like it. Other than that, let's get on to it with shading today. So let me pull up my art screen here, and we are going to talk about shading. So, when you're shading an object, you have to kind of you have to know a couple of things. One, where the light source is coming from, what type of object you're going to be lighting or shading, and what are the reflective properties of that object. So let's start with, let me move my drawing board a little bit closer. Sorry for that. Here we go. Let's zoom in to the drawing in question. I also got pulled up some examples today, so we're going to talk about examples of other artists with shading as well. So, but let's get to it really quickly. Let's draw the standard sphere. Okay, so we got our standard circle right here, and it's going to be on a flat plane, but the sphere is a 3D object. Get that right in the center. Okay, and we're going to have our light come from this direction over here. Okay, this direction. So the brightest spot is going to be right over here, which we never highlight this way. I'm just kind of showing you. So you want to put your shadows right on this side over here. Okay, that's typically what you do when you shade a sphere. And when the light hits this object, it's going to make a shadow underneath on whatever it's sitting on. Okay? But with a sphere has some unique properties. A sphere, let's say if it's chrome, right, is going to be super reflective of the environment around it. So you have to be aware of that when you're going to shade a sphere. So let me draw another sphere. We're just going to lighten this one up real good. So you can barely see it. You can barely see it on the screen. So when you have your sphere right here, right? Let me draw this in. So we got our circle here. The light's coming down, and we're going to have an intense light up at the top, casting a shadow. This is called a cast shadow. Okay, down below. And then there's called a core shadow. The core shadow is going to be the main. I don't know how the definition exactly to tell you, but It's going to be the hardest, darkest part of the shadow. It's where the core line is. It's where the hard line is of the shadow. Okay? And then we have a softer shadow that kind of comes down behind it. Right? So we use different lines to indicate if it's a soft shadow or a core shadow. Right? So I typically do a lot of cross hatching to make my shadows. And then in the dark areas, I would fill this in with like a hard black or something like that. And unlike the moon, like typically when we look at the moon, right, we'll see the moon and it's a sphere, it's out in space, but it has a dark side, right? And unless the light is shining on that object, it's going to be black on that side the whole time. With a shiny sphere, like a chrome sphere, like I said, it's going to pick up light and reflect it back. Same with human skin. Human skin does this as well. So the light rays that are coming around it, right? Like so, bounce off other objects, boom, and then hit back up, right? Giving it a softer glow. It appears to be a softer glow behind it because it's reflecting what's hitting what it's hitting, right? So it has reflections. So you're only going to have one dark spot on like a chrome sphere, and then all of this semi gray, or not gray, but this is what I use cross hatching for. Oh, sorry. There we go. Does that work better? Okay. Hopefully you can see that better. So I usually just cross hatch to kind of show this back glow from the lighting that's being reflected back up towards the sphere on the back side. Some people call it kind of a highlight. I don't really call it a highlight, a shadowy glow, something like that. But you can see it on your arm. You can see it on your skin. You can see it on any almost rounded object that has a somewhat shiny surface, right? And then, of course, this shadow is still going to be the shadow underneath. But because the light is bouncing around, it's not going to be as dark as the core shadow on the sphere itself. All right. So when we light up like an arm, let's say we do an arm. Well, let me draw a quick little arm here. So, oops. We got our shoulder here, bicep coming down, tricep in the back. Yeah. He's got some big guns here, so we're getting some big guns. Yeah. Big guns, tiny hands. He has Trump hands. All right. So we got an arm here. An arm is just a sphere or a cylinder, right? So we talked about cylinders the other day, or a couple weeks ago. Cylinders is just a long tube. It's going to have kind of the same properties when you cast a light on it. So if we cast a light from this side, right? From this side, the core shadow is going to be right here. Make that the darkest. Then as you go towards the back, the reflected light is going to start shining through or coming around because it bounces around the object. On whatever's behind it will kind of come through. So it'll be darker and then get lighter all the way to like just kind of a barely little highlight. Hey, Eric Hawkins. Hey, Christopher C. And Willie Reid's in the chat too. How's it going, guys? So you'll have this core shadow here again. This kind of what's it called? A cast shadow? Or no, core shadow, cast shadow. I don't remember the terminology too well. My bad. But this shadow will trail off, and you'll get kind of highlights on the back side. The same will be for the arm, like when you shadow a human body. So let's say we've got light coming down on the human arm, right? So this is the shoulder. We got the deltoids right here, you know. So the light's coming down this way. So it's going to cast a shadow here, here, here. So we can just kind of connect these ones. Bicep is going to be illuminated up here, but on the bottom side, we'll start to get the shadow. Tricep. Now, the shoulder muscles lay on top of the tricep muscles, and the tricep muscles kind of bend and wrap around the arm, like this on this way. So we're going to have the shadow kind of come around here, this core shadow. And then you'll see kind of the back side, the after, the glowy side, because it's round like a sphere, come through. Okay. And the muscle here is going to have a shadow. Muscle here is going to have a shadow. But it's going to have that little highlight bit below as it wraps around. Right. I know it's kind of a shoddy look, but or kind of a very simplistic look of how the arm works. Let me see if I can draw a little better one real quick. Let's read all these. So let's make the arm again. Okay. Tricep, bicep. Okay. If no one understands this, please definitely let me know in chat, and I'll try to make it a little bit better. So for you. I should have thought about this a little bit more before I started my show today. It was just a busy day. So anyway, so we'll go in here. I'm going to drop this down. Okay. So our light's going to be the same source. It's going to be up here. Boom. Coming down onto our arm. Deltoid is 3 muscles. Boom. Underside. Remember, we're going to have that hard right there, that hard light, the hard cast shadow. It's going to taper off a little bit because it's reflecting off the skin underneath. Because this surface here is going to be lit by the light, and it's going to bounce up and light up the underside of that deltoid muscle right there. So let me back that up for a second. So we'll do the same over here. It's going to come down. There we go. This one's going to come down. And that's going to kind of get a little bit lighter. Underside of the tricep. This tricep. And then because the light's bouncing off right here, it's going to go up and then it's going to kind of drift off a little bit. Should have just erased that to begin with. Oh well, let me it's going to drift off to kind of highlight that a little bit, but not highlight. What's the word? Shadow it, but not. It's not going to be as bright. Okay. Now the bicep is going to come down. We're going to have that cast shadow, like so. A real dark line, and then it's going to fade as the other muscles bounce light towards it. So I hope you get what I'm saying there. Because the arm is round, the light's going to bend this way around it. All the shadows will. So, and the other surfaces, because they're round, are going to have the light bounce up towards them, the back side of the muscle before. So it gets a little lighter. Does that make sense to everybody? I hope it does. Just a very generic thing, but I brought some examples with me of some artwork to show you today. Different shadowing methods, different ways to shadow stuff, but just be aware there's two. Thanks, Eric. I appreciate that. Just noticed. What I have is I have the brush at a certain opacity. As I draw over it again, it gets darker, and then when I go lighter, it can get lighter. So, but the other thing you can do is when I'm shadowing stuff, let's take the opacity up higher. We make a very dark area, right? And then when I'm gradiating out, or gradient, which is what this is kind of doing, it's making a gradient on the way out. Well, I'll drop the opacity, but usually I use a thinner marker, like a micron 0.1 or 0.5, and I will start laying hatch marks. And what I will do is I will build up the gradient and work its way out. So it kind of slowly transitions from that dark to the lighter areas. And then you just kind of keep working with it. It's called cross hatching. A lot of people do it. Frank Cho is a good one that does cross hatching a lot. Like if we take our mysterious arm over here, I'll put another layer on top. I'm going to leave this all. We'll just take the deltoid muscle right here, the shoulder muscle. I'm going to leave this all one gradient. Is that big size? Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to make this dark. And muscle comes down. Let's say right here. Muscle comes down. Say right here. And this one comes down right there. What I would do then is start making these lines out this way, leading from that core shadow to a nice softer shadow. And I would vary the line weight here. Let's go 8. Now what I like to do is I angle my cross hatching the way the angle of the item is. So whatever you're cross hatching. So since the deltoid wraps, I like to wrap my cross hatches the same way. And then I slowly get wider and fainter as I move my way back. Does that make sense? Can I ink a page as an example? It might be a little bit hard to do right now, but I will set one up though later this week for Friday, because I really didn't think about that. I should have. And I will use my micron markers to show you how. So, anyways, I just messed that one up. But let me pull up some examples of what I was going to show you. In fact, I think No, not that one. There we go. Jim Lee is a good example. So if we go to, we'll zoom in here on Batman's face, right? So I'm going to use some blue. I'm going to go make another layer and go over top. We'll use some blue here. I'll show you what I mean. So right here, right in this section, is our hard shadow, where the hard light's coming, right? This is all hard shadow. And then this section right here, he has little hash marks. Let me see if I can. Can you guys see that? He has little hash marks that are cross-hatching to indicate there's some faint reflective light happening on Batman's cowl. So, and he does this too to indicate the shape of the face, right? So you got your hard cast shadow where the light's coming from, because we can clearly see the light sources over here. It's going to cast that hard shadow right here. And then on the opposite side, like we see on the opposite side of the face, we have a reflective light coming this way. And he's doing these little crosshatches here to let some gray in there to indicate where the highlights are on the face. Okay? And this is what everybody needs to do, or what you should do. Not everybody does this, though. But this is more of a realistic type of way to shadow the face without being realistic, without drawing it in there. But anyone else loose stream? I don't know what you mean. But so Jim Lee is a good example, and you can see the crosshatch marks he does to indicate. Jim Lee also does this too. If you look, sometimes he does the straight lines right here, like on the chin. Right here, you can see the chin. He'll do straight lines, right? Oh, oops, I didn't mean to draw on the actual layer. Stop it. There we go. So he will do the straight lines sometimes when he crosshatches, but most of the time, he does a slight bend on his line work to indicate the way the lip or the shape of the lip is going. And it's a great way to indicate a shape of an object as you're cross-hatching. So like we'll move in here real quick. So I know it's a little bit grainy. I apologize. But see, you can see the bend marks of his lines to give it that look. And then when he's going up this way with it, and he's sweeping up with his cross-hatching there. And that helps indicate the shape of that of the object. So hopefully you guys can see that pretty well. And then you also, depending on the way the face is laid out, we got the hard shadow on the cowl or the nose piece of the cowl to indicate it's more forward. Why we have a shadow being cast down below the nose, a little gray area in between for reflective light. So it's really good. He's really good with light and shadows here. Let's see. I like watching there's a lot of smearing. He details with cross-hatching or textures, not details. It's true. He does do that. Let's look at another artist real quick. Let me pull back on this one. This is Oliver Copel. I always mispronounce his name. I apologize. I like the way he does stuff too. So he does his shadowing a little bit different when he does stuff. So he does the cross-hatching. Again, you can see near the helmet up here. Let me get that up there. The helmet. So he has that core cast shadow that comes up, and then he does the cross-hatching on his way out to indicate it kind of fades away. It steps away from, and it's transitioning, the gradient, it's transitioning. But he also does, like with his clouds here, he does the same thing. Or the darkness as it's coming to some sort of light or fire. I don't remember what this was colored. But I like the way he does his fur. So he does, again, it's not cross hatching. What is it called again? Where you, let me throw it up real quick. So he does this fur like you do. Pull my pen. You do kind of 3 lines, and you do another 3 lines and going kind of a different direction. And then you kind of play with that. So, but yeah, he kind of does that for it, which is pretty cool. I like that a lot. And then he has in the areas here, he does have really hard shadows in the back of the leg here, and he makes the little the leg things pop out. It's an artistic flair to do because they are shiny surface, which is kind of neat. You can do, but I just like the way he puts it all together. Though it's really smooth. It's really good. He uses some shadowing to indicate where the fire is going to be or some sort of energy. And then as the body fades into it, it'll let the colorist know where to make the bright spots and things like that because the body will disappear. So very good work on how he does that. Another good master of shadowing, we'll get back to him in a second, Mike. This is Ron Garney. Ron Garney was on the channel. I did an interview with him a while back. This is one of his Daredevil covers that I got inspired by. He said I can use the image for as an inspiration, but his use of light and shadow is very good too in setting the mood for this character. Shadow is everything on this piece because it sets the way Daredevil comes across as mean and brooding and tough. We have a little light in the background. He has that hard cast core shadow coming down right here on the side of the cowl all the way down because the lighting is the brightest part in the drawing. So he has this right here, mostly black except for the logo. And then on these other areas here, he left them light, but the colorist went and made them gray to give you an idea, but there is some hatching. Not too much. He doesn't use a lot of hatching for it. He just indicates with a few lines with his blacks on where things need to be. So he's more of a straight up black, hard ink line, and then you let the color kind of dictate, which is cool in its own right. I like it, but I like the way he does it too on the forearms here. So he has the hard black shadows. And then he just indicates where the armbands are, and then the colorist kind of fills it in with the colors, not the other way around, not with any lines or pencil marks. So, but I like the way he does the style for that. It's really cool and very dramatic. So a lot of blacks can add a lot of drama to the artwork. A really good thing that he does too is textures for items with shadows. So like the bricks down here in the lower corner. Oops, let me add another layer again. The bricks in the corner over here, right? Let me zoom in down there. So he has the shadow going underneath the brick. Sal Valuto taught me this too. So you only indicate the bottom of the brick. And then you occasionally do little spots here and there where there's divots or deviations in the brick. And then he uses this hard cast shadow here. Generally does this too. And then everything else is in black except for where a shadow normally would be. And they just leave a little highlight there. So it's really cool on how he uses that shadow for this drawing. But a lot of pros do that to indicate texture. on the item. Um, it's pretty neat. I like that one a lot. And then let's go over to, oh, this is my drawing. I'll show you. I don't know if you watched the time lapse video or not, but on mine, this is not the most high res picture, but I used only here, a couple spots in here and here as hard black inks. The rest is everything is cross-hatched in the direction the muscles would go, like so, right? And then that gave me the tone I kind of wanted to go with. And I remember I did directional cross-hatching so it would match up with the angle of the muscle and the where it was headed. So I really like that look. And then I got to remember too, because the light was coming straight down, right? That his back stands out more than the lower back here. So I had to have this all kind of in shadow down here. There's just a lot of cross hatching there to make that happen. So, and then I use the colors to help indicate the depth of the muscles and where the highlights would be. Same with the scars on the back and things like that. So that's what I did for that one. Let's go over to, okay, here we go. This is Mike Miller's piece. He sent this to me so we could use it. Just gonna close that real quick. So Mike, dang it, Paul is my favorite part of. All right. Oh no, it's fine, Asuka. No problem. Thank you. I appreciate it. Um. Anyways, so this is Mike Miller's piece he just drew. It's he sent me a quick little high, pretty high res JPEG. But Mike is the master of cross hatching. I don't know if you can. Let me see if you can get the details here. But like, look at the muscles on the shoulder, right up here. Right. So see the muscle come up right here. He does long lines like so. He has hard, thick black lines right here for the core shadow, and he drags them down, and then he does another line over here, the crosshatch, to indicate the lighter areas of that shadow. Mike is really, really good with crosshatching, and he just keeps going over it layer by layer by layer by layer to get the effects on this piece. He doesn't put any hard blacks in like the backgrounds. This is all straight up done by hand, line by line. So it's pretty neat how you can do that with just the line work. But he follows the same rules, where the light is. See the light's coming up from over here, right? Oops. Let's throw another layer on. Light over here is coming up from the bottom right. You got the hard cast shadow here, and then it fades off towards the back. Then it gets lighter because this side right here of the pec is bouncing a little bit like this way, causing another core shadow over here, and then it fades off again. But this one has multiple light sources, so you have to kind of play with that. Yeah, the veins on this piece is dope. But again, that's just trickery with light, though, because he's leaving one side completely undone, right over there, and he's just hatching one side of it, all the way around. So it's pretty neat. And he does the same thing. If you notice on the fingers, let's go to the fingers down here. Hopefully you can see this pretty well. If you look at that finger, right, his hatching is directional. It goes with the bend in the finger. Okay? And then he comes back the other way. And that's how he gets his tone. But there's multiple ways to shadow, guys. You can do it with color. You can do it with markers. You can do it with pen and ink. There's multiple ways to do it. But the more it's just about practice, 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 like anything else with drawing. Practice, practice, practice. So, let's see here. Do I still have? I think I had. I want to show you the Master of Shadows. It's not me. 1 second. Let me open it up. Where'd you go? Where did you go? There it is. Mike Mignola. So Mike Mignola can tell a lot with very little. He has a lot of shadows, a lot of black lines, very little transitioning or grayscale work. He just goes straight for the blacks. He does hard shadows only. And you just see the inkward. This is from a real page I took off one of the auction sites for Hellboy. He doesn't do a lot of grayscale. He does put the highlights on the right-hand side, like over here. Oops. Let's make that blue again. So he has the highlights. So he follows the rules, right? I'm drawing with the mouse, sorry. The light source is coming from this way. Yep. And he still has the highlights on the other side. Yeah. You can do a lot. Yeah, you can really tell a lot with either a little shadow or a lot of shadow, depending on what you're trying to do story-wise. Shadow is light and shadow are the key to the emotion in each page you do, each drawing you do. So you got to remember that when you're doing artwork. So let me bring in Spencer Tunes here. Hold on 1 second. Hey,
Yo.
Josh, how you doing?
Hey, all right.
Good,
So I'm
man.
a bit late.
It's okay, man. It's okay. We're talking about Mike Mignola's artwork and shadow use right now.
I can see that. Yeah.
You a Mike Mignola fan?
Oh yeah, big time. I always used to try and copy his style, but I could never get my head around. It was just too. I don't know. It's a very unique look, and copying it isn't easy.
Yeah, yeah. What gets you about his shadow work, his use of light and shadow?
I like how simplistic it looks, but there's a lot in there.
There's
Like
still
he
a lot
can,
going on. Yeah.
yeah, convey a lot with some simple lines.
Mm-hmm. It's very
That's what I
deceptive
like.
on how simple it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's definitely a master because when he used to do Batman and things like that, he was a little bit different. He did a little more gray work with his lines. But when he went to his own story time, Hellboy, when he went to his own story, his own property, he went minimalist, I think, with his
And a
gray
lot
work.
more black because
Yep.
I have some old Mignola stuff from the 90s, like things
Mm-hmm.
he did on DC and um, some other stuff with Fafford and the Grey Mouser.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a lot more just kind of what you would call traditional comic book art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you shadow a drawing when you're just doing pen and ink? What do you use to shadow with? Like, are you a crosshatch guy? Are you a how do
A
you
bit
do
of
it?
everything.
Okay.
I don't tend to use a lot of cross hatching, but I do. I use a little bit of techniques from Arthur Adams. He
Okay.
does a lot of cross hatching, but the hatches kind of follow the form.
Yes. Follow the form. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um,
which is what Mike Miller does. This is what I do. I like to follow the form because it helps um, tell the shape of the object.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's another artist, I forget the name, but he does a book called Druna. It's an adult kind of heavy metal comic, so it's not for everyone. But
Mm-hmm.
he's like one of the best kind of crosshatches that follow the form. Like every line kind of just contours. Yeah.
Yeah. I know this is kind of an ugly one, but as I'm working on it, but it's kind of the same way. Uh, Ciparilli? Is that what you call it, Trusty? I don't know.
Sounds right. Yeah, I think it's Italian dude.
Yeah, I always forget. I was never good in school with learning the terms. I was just a doer. I just kind of did it. I saw how it was done. I was like, oh, okay, let's see if I can mimic it, right?
Yeah.
You
But
know,
because a lot of the stuff I liked was like cartoons and anime and stuff, I kind of have also this more of a cartoony, cell shady type of thing,
mm-hmm. Which
which
is like
they don't
megawatt.
use any cross hatching at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of I'll mix it up.
Yeah. But see, I will layer my crosshatches and layer also which way it moves. So I try never go in the same direction at the same again. So I always try to mix up the direction, even if it's just like 20 degrees or something like that. So it's not going the same way. Just so I can get that look. And then it slowly builds up and you get all these little lines that make a nice gray tone like that. So where you get the core shadow. Now what's it called after? It's called a cast shadow, or is that what it's called after the core shadow?
Yeah, I think so.
The cast shadow. Okay, the cast is what's kind of fades out.
Yeah, there's the hard shadow, cast shadow. I forget.
Yeah, I don't know the terminology either, but yeah. So, but yeah, that's what I do. That's a small example, and maybe on Friday I'll demo it when we do critique, the critique day, and I'll do it in pen and ink on a page for you guys, so you guys can check it out. So, and then that way you can see how I do it. But you can also see it kind of on the time lapse that I did with the Iron Fist. So, you know, core is the object. Cast is the shadow on the ground being cast by the object. Now, what's the reflective term when is it just a reflective surface, or when you get the back highlight, like a glossy object? Uh, Anyways, I always forget these terms. Willie, why aren't you in here to tell me these terms? Why are you pretending to be work, Willie? It's all good though. It's all good. Anyway, since you're here, mid tongues is the cross hatching. Okay. Gotcha. Since you're here though, let's bring up your project real quick since you are here. Because it did go live today.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Megawatt and the Vampire went live, my man.
Megawatt
And
versus the vampires.
sorry,
of the sun.
Megawatt versus the Vampires.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're doing pretty good so far. I have to say, not bad on Kickstarter. You're getting a much better starting point. Yeah, dude. You're already 10% of the way there. It's not even been a full 24 hours yet.
Excellent.
Yes, I think so. I think it's going to be a much better improvement for the book on a different platform. There's nothing wrong with that. We support all platforms here. So,
Mm-hmm.
but you did also on this artwork. You did a lot of cell shading type art
Yeah.
for your shadows. So you let the colors do the work of the shadows. But you did do some, like was it Megawatt on his pants right there? You have a little bit of hatching, things like that, but not a lot.
Yeah.
But you did some hatching with the colors in some of the pages.
Yes.
For that, yes.
For the background, or you mean the characters or the?
Yeah, sometimes when the characters close, you did the
Yeah, a little
hatching
bit
with there with the shadows.
Yeah.
Things like that for it. So, come on, Josh, help me here. I'm trying to tie it into your book.
No, it's good. I think because I color it myself, I don't do a lot of inking cross hatching because I kind of know, because I know like where the shadows are going to be at a later time. But if I was going to get someone else to do it, I might put a little bit more in with the line work because I do leave a lot up to me being the colorist to define a lot of things.
Okay. Gotcha. And what how do you decide where the light's coming from for your coloring process? So
sometimes I'll do the background first. If in that case there's a window there, I might have the light coming through the window.
Like the vampires coming out right there. You see how
they're
highlighted on one side, shadow on the other. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so I kind of keep it directional like that. I have a default light direction.
Okay.
Which is like, I don't know if you've got this as well, but whenever you're doing a piece, you often put the lighting in the same spot.
Oh, yeah. So if I'm doing like a quick, sketch for like a commission or something like that, a Comic-Con or whatever, yeah, I will do that default because it just saves me time.
Yeah, I have it coming down from the top, on the top right, pointing downwards to the left.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to get out of that mode, though.
Sometimes I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get
but
that.
That's my default kind of position.
Gotcha. Yeah, a lot of people do top down all the time. I always do top left. I like the top left. So, but it's all good.
Are you left-handed or right-handed?
I'm right-handed.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's just because I like shadowing from the top down, getting darker on the way down.
But if you have top left, then the face would be covered in more shadow.
Some are, yeah, depending on the character I'm doing stuff, But it's just what I do. It's just default. Yeah. Anyways, guys, yeah, check out Megawatts. I'll put the link here. 1 second.
Yeah.
Right there. It's on the bottom. Just go to megawattcomic.com. Support Josh's book. And I'm going to pull up some more artwork to look at again. I want to get your impressions of like Jim Lee on the Batman here. So let me pull that back up. Yeah, I want to know what you see when you look at Batman. So here.
I also have another project I'm attached to, sort of doing the coloring for, which is funding at the moment, called Lana Luca Blood Ties, and that's also on Kickstarter. It's got 3 days left to go.
Oh, gotcha. Well, drop the link in that for sure. And see what people think of it. So
yeah.
But Josh, okay, we got Jim Lee back up. Classic Jim Lee. Yep.
Can I say something controversial?
What's that?
I've never really been massive into Jim Lee.
Okay, that's fine.
It's
not heresy here.
I found his work a bit over rendered.
Oh, you think he over renders?
Yeah, a little bit.
Really? Okay. Yeah, because I know there's some people who talk about the shadows when they do the shadows. You should, if it's in black, you should just leave it in black. Don't put any details in there. But he puts details in the blacks.
Oh yeah.
So it makes it a little more visually interesting, but there are people who say that if you were just a black, let me pull open this. Let me go get my black pen real quick. If you were just to black out certain areas, see, let's do the neck real quick, right? So we got a little bit of highlight there on the left. On the right, we got all this little detail. If we were just to black that out, some people say it leaves more. It gives a better look, right? He over renders some things where, and actually I do kind of like that better. I do kind of like that better, yeah. Yeah. And let's take the cow. Actually, let's do the cow, because we don't need all these lines up here. I mean, you really aren't going to see them, most of the time. Yeah, I am going to leave the highlights on the side of the face.
Yeah.
But we don't need that.
See how cool that looks?
It does look a little better, yeah. Kind of funny.
Yeah.
Maybe he does
I think
render.
He adds a bit too much where it should be kind of a bit starker, I think. A bit more contrast, maybe.
Yeah, I think you need to let the black or the shadow do the work. Be the heavy hitter. Let's push this a little bit more.
Are you just using your mouse?
I'm just using my pen.
Oh, the pen. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can get a bit of control.
Yeah, I get a little more control with the black. So. Yeah, in fact, I do like that. Even with the skin too. I mean, if we just take this out.
Well, a little bit. Not. I think there needs to be a little bit of a highlight there. So I'd leave that in, maybe some of it.
Some of it.
Well, just between the cow and his face, there needs to be like a little bit of a line.
Okay.
Just so you can see the difference,
Yeah.
like, where the mask ends.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he does over render. That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
Because if I was doing that, like, I'd just want to fill in where when the cross hatching is. A lot of that would just disappear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that a bit more. It does look pretty good. Wow, we're cleaning up Jim Lee's work. Oh my gosh.
I know this is sacrilege to some people.
I know. They're probably gonna hear about some of it later. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Heresy.
We're gonna
in
die.
The chat.
Nice. Hey David, how's it going? Heresy, that's my friend John. John, thanks, man. Storyteller is here. Thank you for coming, guys. Anyways, guys, I want you guys to do a drawing this week. Do any drawing you want. Tag me on Twitter. With it, I'll post up the thing because we're going to do another critique on Friday, and we will be happy to give you advice on shading or however you want to do your drawings. Like maybe anatomy, things like that. If there's something you want us to specifically to focus on that you think you're having a hard time with, let us know. Josh, I will help you. Willie, when he's here, if he's ever going to be here again, Willie, blaming it on work every time. You got called into work. You know,
People with jobs.
He's probably just playing with his cat, to be honest, his new cat. So,
damn it, cat.
New cat, yeah. But yeah, that does look better. Sometimes less is more, guys. Remember that. Sometimes less is more. So.
Yeah, and yeah. Mm-hmm. Especially with Batman, characters like that with a lot of black, because his suit is black, or very dark gray. So
now, okay, he has the white eye on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
I personally sometimes I just want to fill that eye in, right?
Really?
Yeah, but let's do this.
Oh yeah.
I think that looks cool. I like it with the gray because it's in the shadow, but it's not totally blacked out. I think.
Yeah, some of that I would leave for the colorist to
yeah, of
play
course,
with.
yeah. So, but I kind of like it though. I kind of like it. Willie says I'll be back. All right, man. So, anyways, Friday, guys, we'll do some more critiquing for you. Send us some of your artwork. Work on shading. Work on cross hatching. Work on reflective light, core shadows, cast shadows, and your midtones. And we will help you with that as much as we can. All right, guys. So if you can do that, that'd be awesome. And we love helping you guys out. So hopefully we can be of use to you. Josh, any parting words before we leave tonight?
I was going to tell people to check out Mort Drucker, who was a mad artist.
Do you got some art you can pull up of his, or
just Google it?
Oh my gosh.
I don't have it right now. Hang on, let me see.
What's that? Mort? M-O-R-T?
Hang on, I'm going to share my. Can I share screen on here?
Yeah, you totally can.
Okay, wait a second. Share screen. Do. This one. I'm in the middle of a caricature at the moment, so that's what I'm working on.
Okay, you're up.
That's my. So this is Mort Drucker. Oh gosh. Let's see if I can make this a bit bigger. So can you see?
Right click on it, hit image only. Open image only.
Open image.
Yep.
Oh.
You can zoom in.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Zoom in.
Control plus.
Control plus. It's a bit low, but you can kind of tell.
Oh, it's cross-hatching in the background.
Yeah. But it's that very kind of cartoony style that I like. And it's got very minimal cross-hatching.
Well, it's enough to indicate that where the light. It's enough to indicate where the light's coming from, though, for a color.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. Awesome. There's another artist. I can't remember right now. He's on Mad. Tom Richmond or something. A lot of cool artists on Mad. Sadly, Mad's not really existing anymore. But
yeah, it sucks.
There's a lot of cool caricature artists that come out of Mad magazine.
Yep. Yeah, so check out some of those artists as well. But look more when you're looking at comic books and stuff now, how they're shading. A lot of the new guys, though, they're not shading anything. They're just doing straight lines only, which sucks. I hate that. It looks ugly. But there's some good ones out there, guys. Tell us who you like on Friday, who you think the best, guys with pen and ink are, things like that. We'll look forward to hearing from you. Do your drawings. Hit us up. We'll critique your stuff and let me know what you think. Anyways, guys, back Megawatt if you can. They would appreciate it. Remember, it's Kickstarter, so if you don't have the money right away, you can do it now and then pay when it gets due. So, but show your love for them. They worked hard on the project. They do a good job. So, anyways, guys, take care. God bless. Have a great weekend. or have a great week, I should say. And we will see you Friday, 6 o'clock Mountain Time, 8 Eastern. I think Weldon might be joining us, but I'm not 100% sure. He's getting his tires changed again today, so we'll see. But anyways, guys, we will see you next time. Later.
Okay, bye.